1,000 years ago, as the sun set on the 22nd day of the 3rd month in the 2024th year of the Common Era, in a small city called Louisville, Kentucky, there was a puncture in the fabric of space-time. Dark tendrils reached out from the twisted realities beyond. At first, its effects on the human psyche were barely perceptible, drawing together only those most sensitive to its force. People under the dominion of the void found themselves feverishly set upon the act of creating. Their creations seemed to give shape to the puncture, and it grew and grew. Soon, people all over the city and beyond began to feel the call of the void. The puncture grew into a tear, and then into a gaping maw. From the few artifacts that remain of that ancient time, we have learned that the people called this ever-growing void the Warp Zone.
March 2024, Louisville Makes Games, a nonprofit and game dev community from Louisville, Kentucky, had an event called the Music Jam. The purpose of this event was to create a game jam that is specifically for creating music for a fictional game. Participants showed up in person or on the Discord and drew themes from a hat, constructed by combining a tone and a narrative. The participants then had 48 hours to create whatever they wanted to based on that theme. On the Sunday night of the jam, the participants gathered at Warp Zone Louisville and presented their pieces of music. The following recording is from that night. We apologize for the video and audio quality, but the music tracks were provided in lossless quality and turned out really good. Please enjoy this showcase of the immense talent of local musicians in the Louisville, Kentucky area.
Go down the list of tracks, starting with Zach Preston's Alien New World.
Okay, so basically with this one, my first impression when I got Alien was literally Alien the movie. And then after thinking about it with the whole New World aspect, I was like, well, think of it like from the perspective of the Alien or New World. So vibes I was getting was like an Avatar type setting where you're going to like an Alien New World, but it's actually like beautiful. Or like Oddworld, where it's just you're in this world where there's like a bunch of weird creatures and weird looking aliens, but they're just doing their own thing. So I listened to a whole bunch of random things. Mainly, I was getting some ideas from Pulse the Planets, which was basically anything spacey. So I definitely went more celestial. So I think I went more celestial than I did alien, just space in general. And then I was listening to E.T. I got some like, I just did a lot of listening and kind of emulating, like taking tracks. So I come from more like a classical background, so my writing is going to be more for like orchestration. I have this background in orchestration, so a lot of it you'll see is anything sci-fi-esque that I did was tangible from the perspective of like what it could play like an orchestra. So, but the abnormal things that I brought into it would have just been things like bass flutes, bass clarinets, things that are just like low and hollow and dark winds to kind of give it a different sound that are a little bit non-traditional when it comes to orchestral music. But everything you're going to hear is basically acoustic in a way. I did use, obviously, it's virtual instruments, but it would be something tangible for live players. Hypothetically, I used choir, because if anybody you're familiar with the Planets,
Yeah.
cool. Just a sidebar, their Louisville Civic Orchestra is playing it in May. So if you're interested in coming out and seeing it, then
Heck yeah.
you'll get another treat. But yeah, so I was taking stuff from like Neptune with the choirs and stuff, and just making it celestial. And I did like a little bit of whimsicalness. You'll see like about halfway through. It's about 90 seconds. Halfway through, I'm through like this little like Prokofiev style melody. It's just very just bouncy and quirky, whimsical. But yeah, I'll give it a listen to and see what you think.
next up is Aaron Goodwine and Ambient Fantasy Cave.
Yeah, so I named mine pretty straight off of exactly what my theme was, which was fantasy, ambient, and cave-like. So for the last year or so, I've been teaching myself coding and developing for Super Nintendo. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make a song for the Super Nintendo chipset that could be played on hardware. So I worked with a couple different tools, found something that I liked, and then piddled around on the keyboard a bit just to get some chords together and just created something. And it's a very short loop just to play that you would hear in the background of a cave section of a fantasy game on the Super Nintendo.
Okay. Next up is Before the Monsters Are Here by Eduardo Brito. I don't see him on the Discord, so I think I'll just note that he is in Portugal. So I'll just play his music, and his theme was Minimalist Kaiju.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear that.
I'm glad I didn't get that one.
Oh, hey.
Looks like Eduardo is typing on the Discord. Let's see what he says real quick.
Definitely got old school Godzilla vibes.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
I was picturing something ahead. That's why I laughed. I was picturing that type of
Is that webcam recording?
Yeah. I feel like I could
Because
hear
Eduardo was asking.
I feel like I could hear breathing in there, which is cool in the track. And then stomping at the end.
So next up is Caleb Smith's Behind the Old Abandoned Power Plant Around Midnight. The theme was Low Energy After Hours. So let's give that a listen.
So a very liminal vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that he took it literally. Low energy abandoned power plant. That's pretty cool. All right. Next up is Tuts on the Discord. I see you're in the voice chat. Did you want to talk about your song?
Hi everybody. Well, when I was in school, in secondary school, I had to do a show about minimalism, and I started a little bit of that research. And I wasn't too inspired at the moment, but I just want to shine the shine. So I recorded like freely, and well, that's it. It's called Epopeya de un Borracho, and I made a translation. It was Epic of a Drunk Art, but I don't know if it's cool. The lyrics are meaningless. Enjoy, I hope you enjoy it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Claro, y tu corazón al viento. Lluvia, cuando amanezca, dime qué es ese color. Mañana cielo y tu corazón. Dime tiempo. Quiero ver tiempo. Cielo, lluvia y tu corazón. Mañana.
Had that minimalist vibe from the 20th century, though.
Loved it.
What was the theme of that one?
Minimalism.
Minimalist Utopia.
Oh, okay.
Definitely had a 20th century minimalism, though. I could hear that, like of the 50s and 60s. Yeah.
All right. Next up is Daniel Neal with Frozen Plains Orchestral Arrangement.
So this the theme was icy war, and so I kind of had in my mind like Game of Thrones, kind of like the icy north kind of thing, or World of Warcraft, like a Northrend kind of area. It's kind of going for something like that.
Next up, Get Punched by Alex Bajushka, buffering on the Discord.
I wasn't planning on doing the jam, but then, so I picked a theme, and then I put it back in the hat so someone else could possibly get it, and I don't remember what it was. And then an hour later or so, I was sitting at my computer, and I was like, I might as well do it. And then I just did something with the LMMS, like, starter project and played around with it. So I'm very new at making music, so I just played around with the starter project until it sounded how I wanted it.
Okay, okay, so next up is Here Comes the Mothership.
Nice.
Looks like you're on the Discord, Pyra.
Hi, Louisville. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Yes. Okay. I'm from France. It's midnight and a half here. Properly.
Nice.
So the timing was so far long for me. When I picked the theme, the random theme, anthem, patriotic, and space opera, I just remember about some Vangelis stuff, Jean-Michel Jarre stuff, you know, some 80s vibes, synthesizer, of course, a lot of big reverb. So I just composed a little bit melody in C major, sorry, and just add some melodies around there, and very quick mixing and mastering. So enjoy it.
He said it was Anthem Space Opera?
Yep, Anthem Space Opera.
Nice. Nice. That was awesome.
Excellent. All right. Next up is Junglefish by James McLean.
Okay.
Did you want me to play the video or just the audio?
The video.
All right. Let me make sure I can do that.
Yeah. We worked very hard on the video.
Very hyper definition.
And got a lot of help from Eric and Aaron. Is it Eric?
Tony.
Tony, sorry, Tony.
All good.
Tony did an excellent job with the puppeteering, and Aaron did an excellent job with the kabasa. This instrument here, and yeah, it was intense. We had set up in the front of the room with a camera and the TV as a teleprompter. I wrote the lyrics myself. There are not many instruments on the piece, just my own singing and the choruses singing and the kabasa and the puppets moving along. It is a fable about a African fisherman. The theme that I drew was whimsical jungle. So I wrote a little fable, and from there I think I'll let it speak for itself. But if you'd like to examine any of the puppets used in the piece, they are here. There is a bird, a crocodile, and a lion. And let it rip if you can.
Nice.
I said let it rip. Come on, play it. What's the problem?
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The birdie go. It's like fishing in snow. Shut up, little birdie, you scared the fish. There's one on my hook and there's none in my dish. The birdie don't care if you starve to death, 'cause he's got his worm and he's got his nest. He calls at you for to stay away, and you'll never catch a fish today. Roar! A lion! Roar! A lion! Oh, the fearsome lion, he make a fuss. He king of the beast, and he cannot for us. Please shut up, lion, my wife is scared. You kill my goat, and you don't even share. The lion don't care if you starve to death, 'cause he's got his great hair on his head and his chest. He roars at you for to stay away, and you'll never catch a fish today. The croc! The croc! Oh, the sneaky croc, he snap at your toes. He steal your fish, and I think he knows. Oh, stay away, croc, from my toes delish. For I need my toes, and I need your fish. Oh, the lion still roars, and the bird still sings, and the man and the fish gets the fish on the string. In the heart of the jungle where chaos reigns, it seems every creature plays its own strange game. And in the funny jungle where the creatures sing, it's a dance to live, get a fish on a string. If you can't get a bite and you don't mind cow, pack up your bowl, go McDonald's now.
Hope you like it. None of these puppets existed, but like 36 hours ago.
Fantastic.
Next up is Nowhere Left to Go by Tony Tran.
That's me. Hello. So for my themes, I got bleak and sad survival horror, which seems pretty fitting together. But when I first got it, what I did was I got a pen and paper out and started writing notes about, like, okay, when I think about these things, well, what do I think of? So, like, for bleak and sad, like slow or like melancholy, like violins, or like for survival horror, like unnatural sounds, metallic stuff. I just started writing down a bunch of notes just to get an idea of like what to spitball and just to experiment with. And of course I also listened to a bunch of reference material. This is pretty heavily inspired by stuff like Last of Us, Telltale Games, Walking Dead, and maybe even a sprinkle of Attack on Titan.
Nailed the vibe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next up is On the Precipice by Tyler. Okay.
Hi. So my theme was on edge / anticipation plus fantasy, which was pretty common territory for me as someone who likes JRPGs and writes JRPG music. So I thought of all those scenes in games like that where you're like getting ready to go fight and battle something, or like a war is about to break out and it's tense. And then I kind of got carried away and I just went ahead and went into the battle itself because I really liked the melody and I wanted to blow it up. So the orchestration gets a little epic, but I'm really happy with this. I want to flesh it out more later. Mm-hmm. But I mentioned earlier, I love these kinds of limitations, what these limitations can bring out in you creatively. So I had a lot of fun with this one. And look out for the Final Fantasy VI sound font. There's one.
My people are in this room.
resonate feel there.
It could have been in the hills of Marsh.
Next up is the SFR Shocking Horror Mix 2 by...
So I'm going to echo what you just said. I loved the fact that we had to draw themes that were kind of out of our wheelhouse. I drew shocking horror. I don't watch a lot of horror films or anything of that, nature. In terms of video games, I've played Resident Evil 1, and I guess the horror films that I've watched are like Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, where they're kind of also a little bit funny or fun. And I guess going into this, when you don't necessarily have any expectations, you just kind of are free to do whatever you want. So I just kind of went with that. And also I got a lot of help from people here too, with instruments, advice, input. So thank you everybody.
David!
Right? Oh, we definitely gotta kill him now.
Let's watch it again.
Very gorillas.
Nice. I'm a horror fan, and I like it.
Thank you.
It was starring this thing, wasn't it?
Yes, a lot of those kind of higher pitched sounds and whatnot. Absolutely.
Yeah, little scream echoes. You like that.
Oh wow, cool.
For those on Discord, they're talking about the automaton.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Next up is Travel on a Stormy Night by Nick M. I see you in the Discord. Do you want to talk about your song?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So this is my first time really making a song, really. So I didn't have a very good sort of setup on my workflow or anything. So this was all kind of a big experiment for me. But anyways, I basically just put the metronome on and stayed in a E minor key and just kind of felt my way around that, improvised for a little while, and then I took all of my improvisations and then kind of cut them up into a song, question mark. It's kind of a song, but this is my first one, so, don't give your expectations too high or anything. But when I was cutting it together, I thought that for my theme was sad fantasy, maybe it could be something like, kind of like an RPG sort of background when you're like, maybe like playing D&D or something, and you're like doing some traveling through like a dark, stormy night, or on a video game or something, and through like a dark, stormy night. So it's like, you can find some nice moments in it too. So anyway, that's kind of like where it went. But yeah, it's my first song, so of course, it's not that it makes anything, but I hope you enjoy it.
Next up is Unforeseen Discovery by Esoterius or Caleb.
Okay, so my theme was breezy, dark fantasy, and I kind of lucked out because that's like really, like, I can easily do that. That's like really close, really within my wheelhouse. And so I just kind of did what I usually do, and I added like a harp and then like some other, I don't know, I feel like the breezy added some lightness to it, and like the dark fantasy was still like, okay, this is still like creepy. And then like the name of it came from maybe like, I imagined this would play at a scene where like they're like peering into like this like part of the woods that they didn't notice before, and they, you know, stumble upon this like magical cavern or something, but you don't know what's in there, so better be careful.
Monster by That One Soul. Bombastic and Proud Creature Feature was the theme. A lot of variety in that song. Okay, next up, last but not least, Eric. With Deep Old Sea. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. I drew the words old and then deep sea. It made me kind of think of water. I kind of loosely based it on the theme. This is my first actual song I've ever made. I've made like loops before, but I put it into like a regular verse, chorus, verse structure. I'm not super happy with how the verse part turned out, but I like the chorus part. So I don't know. I took some water bubbly sounds and made a keyboard out of it, and that was kind of cool.
Crash Bandicoot vibe.
Yeah.
Freaking love the bubbles. So entertaining.
All right. So that's all of the songs that
Woo.
were produced over the weekend.
Do you want me to play a guitar song?
Do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
Colton's a live performance for us.
Yeah. Live performance. You guys should like.
Colton is our outro, so to speak.
Yeah. My theme was utopian, quirky, and playful.
Oh.
I learned a new chord today, sort of, which let's make sure it's in tune. And the chord is not an E major chord. It's a 7 add sharp 9, which is both major and minor, and it sounds really funky. So here we go. It's about a minute long, so it's not that long. Warp Zone Utopia. Get we do game dev and stuff. Warp Zone Utopia. just a child that I could please some strangers. Make the games I like to play, give a false sense of danger. Here we are in these four walls, making all our art here. Ask me what this place is called, and I will tell you it's the... Warp Zone Utopia. We make games and stuff. Utopia. All I got.
One more song.
All right. So this weekend would not have been possible without you all coming to the space and creating things that were not in the universe prior. And we're a nonprofit organization, so we rely on people coming to the space, joining community, and eventually becoming members or donating their time and money in other ways. We have a PayPal account that you can access on the website. We have a Patreon. And you can also link your Kroger card to our organization. And that actually helps quite a bit. We get a check every month from Kroger. I would highly encourage you all, that if you enjoyed yourself at all this weekend, come back. Our next public meetup is on April 7th. And then we have events, a game jam, I think in April 12th. In May, we have a workshop at the library, a workshop at the main library for their How-To Festival. In June, we have a workshop at the St. Matthew's branch of the library for how to write stories for video games. And so we try to put on these events for the community and try to satisfy the void. So
Thanks for being a part of the community, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome.